What if I told you that you've been playing Bonnie wrong this entire time? This video features the best tips and tricks to help you play the reckless marksman Bonnie. Alright, so to start off this guy, let's go and talk about Bonnie's cannon form main attack, Loose Tooth. In her cannon form, Bonnie fires a long-range tooth that deals moderate damage to enemies. Now similar to brawlers like Carl, B or Charlie, Bonnie only has one ammo slot, so kicking the ball in Brawl Ball does not consume ammo. Now obviously the best time to use this main attack is to charge up your Star Launcher super. Bonnie's Loose Tooth attack is perfect for safely building up her Star Launcher super because of its long range and consistent chip damage. Even if the shots don't deal huge damage right away, landing them steadily forces enemies to back off while giving you the energy you need to transform. Once your super is charged, you can shift the momentum of the fight instantly by diving in with Bonnie's aggressive close range form. Now I know I mentioned this in the previous tip, but you need to be using Bonnie's long range main attacks to keep your distance. With this main attack, it gives Bonnie a safe way to pressure enemies from a distance without committing too much. The chip damage might seem small at first, but over time it wears down opponents and forces them to play more cautiously. By keeping her distance, Bonnie can stay out of danger while setting herself up for the right moment to unleash her super. Now you're probably saying, Bren, you keep talking about using Bonnie's main attack to charge up her super, but when is the best time to be using her super? So with Bonnie's main attack, it's great for softening up the enemies because it lets you deal steady damage without putting yourself at risk, right? So by patiently chipping away, you can create openings where opponents are forced to retreat or risk getting taken down. Once the enemies are low enough, that's the perfect time to use your super and finish them off with her close range burst damage. Now before we talk about Bonnie's supers, I do want to talk about her alternate form's main attack, Bomber Jacket. In her alternate form, Bonnie fires 3 shells in a small spread from left to right. The shells each explode in a small 0.67 tower radius upon impact. Now as you can imagine, using this main attack is going to be better when you're facing other close range brawlers. When you're in Bonnie's close range form, Bomber Jacket is your best tool for winning trades against short range brawlers. Its fast and heavy hitting shots lets you punish enemies who try to rush you, especially if they're already weakened. By timing your shots well and staying aggressive, you can turn what would normally be a dangerous matchup into a fight you can possibly control. Now with her Bomber Jacket main attack, she has a shorter attack range, so you need to be using obstacles and bushes to get closer to your target. This main attack will shine when you can sneak through bushes or use walls to block enemy vision. By closing the gap this way, you can catch opponents off guard and land heavy shots before they have time to react. This surprise factor often gives you the upper hand in fights, especially against fragile or mid-range brawlers who rely on distance to stay safe. Now what I personally love about using this alternate form is that you move quicker, so you need to take advantage of the increased movement speed. When Bonnie leaves her cannon, her boosted movement speed makes it so much easier to close in on the enemies and land her Bomber Jacket shots. This extra mobility allows you to dodge incoming attacks while applying pressure at close range. If you time your approach well, you can overwhelm slower brawlers before they have a chance to escape or retaliate. But okay, that's going to be it for Bonnie's main attacks. Let's go and talk about her supers now, but the first one I want to talk about is Star Launcher. With this super, Bonnie blasts into the air over obstacles for 1.2 seconds. Upon landing, Bonnie changes into her alternate form, which modifies her attack and super. It also deals damage to nearby enemies in a 2.33 tower radius, but this does not charge Bonnie's super. Bonnie also lands with all 3 ammo slots full and maintains her previous health from her cannon form. Now the best time to use this super is when you know you can finish the opponents shortly after landing on top of them. With this super, it is strongest when you commit to it knowing the enemy is already weak enough to finish off. By leaping in at the right moment, you deny them any chance to heal or retreat, turning the fight instantly in your favor. This kind of aggressive play works best when you've chipped them down first, making your landing a guaranteed knockout instead of a risky gamble. Now probably one of the more underrated ways of using this gadget is to use your super to escape dangerous situations. Bonnie's Star Launcher super isn't just for going on the offensive, but it can be a lifesaver when you're trapped. If enemies are closing in or you're caught in a crossfire, launching yourself out of the danger zone gives you a second chance to reset. Using it this way can keep you alive longer and let you regroup with your team instead of giving up an easy elimination. Now I can't believe I have to say this tip, but you should always be jumping in and using your super when you have full health just to maximize your kill potential. Bonnie's Star Launcher super is most effective when you jump in at full health because it gives you the confidence to fully commit without risking an immediate knockout. Starting with full health lets you absorb a few hits if things go wrong, while still dealing maximum damage to your target. This way you can maximize your kill potential and make sure the aggressive play pays off instead of turning into a risky gamble. But okay, that's gonna be it for our first super. Let's go and talk about our alternate super form, which is Clyde. With this super, Bonnie transforms back into her cannon form after a half-second delay, healing up for 37.5% of Clyde's maximum health. This super automatically charges 87.5% per second, and it takes about 1.14 seconds to fully charge. Now of course, probably one of the best times when you need to get back into Clyde is when you are outranged by the opponent. opponents. Bonnie's Clyde super is best used when you're outranged because it lets you transform back into her cannon form, restoring her long-range main attack. This allows you to safely poke and chip away at enemies from a distance instead of being forced into dangerous close combat. Using it this way turns a matchup where you're vulnerable into one you can control, letting you apply pressure without overextending. Now what I really love about using this super is that you heal back 37.5% of Clyde's maximum health, and that can really help you stay alive. Bonnie's Clyde super isn't just for attacking, but is also a great way to regain health during a fight. Activating it heals up to 37.5% of her maximum health, giving you a significant boost that can turn the tide in close matches. By timing the super when you're low, you can safely recover while keeping pressure on your opponents, making it a smart defensive and offensive tool at the same time. And of course, when you're ready to start charging up your Star Launcher super again, that's when you should be going back into your cannon form. Bonnie's Clyde super is ideal to use when you want to start rebuilding energy for your Star Launcher super. By transforming back into her cannon form, you regain access to her long-range main attack, which makes it easier to safely chip away at enemies and generate super energy. This lets you stay proactive in the fight, ensuring that once your Star Launcher is ready again, you can go in for a strong, decisive play. But okay, that's gonna be it for Bonnie's supers. Let's go and talk about her gadgets now, but the first one I want to talk about is called Crash Test. With this gadget, Bonnie dashes 2 tiles in the direction she is facing when she uses this gadget, knocking back and dealing double the damage of 1 shell to enemies in her path. Dashing into walls or water will cut the dash short, and this gadget can only be activated while Bonnie is in her alternate form. Now probably one of the best times to use this gadget is right after you land using your Star Launcher super to just knock the enemies back. Bonnie's Crash Test gadget is perfect for following up after a Star Launcher landing because it immediately knocks back nearby enemies. This creates space around you, letting you avoid instant counterattacks and giving you a chance to reposition or continue dealing damage safely. Timing it right can turn a risky dive into a controlled engagement, letting you maximize the impact of your super while staying protected. Now probably one of my favorite reasons of using this gadget is to deal that double damage of the 1 shell to help you finish off the kill. This gadget can be a game changer when an enemy is low, letting you deal extra damage to secure a kill. By activating it at the right moment, you can finish off opponents who might have survived your main attack or your super. This ensures you don't leave enemies with a sliver of health, turning close fights decisively in your favor. Now despite how good this gadget may seem, you should never be using it over Sugar Rush. Now the reason I say this is that Bonnie's Crash Test gadget can be risky because it only affects enemies very close to her, making it easy to miss in fast-paced matches. It doesn't deal enough damage on its own to reliably secure kills, so using it at the wrong time can waste its potential. Additionally, activating it can leave you exposed since you're committing to an area without much defensive benefit. But okay, that's gonna be it for Bonnie's first gadget. Let's go and talk about her second gadget, Sugar Rush. Upon activation, Bonnie appears red and both her movement speed and reload speed are increased by 30% for 5 seconds. This gadget can only be activated while Bonnie is in her cannon form. Now, this gadget is completely goated and all the pros and pretty much everybody playing the game uses this gadget because Bonnie moves so incredibly slow. Bonnie's movement speed is naturally very slow, which makes her easy to kite or corner without help. The Sugar Rush gadget gives her a sudden boost of speed, letting her dodge attacks, close gaps, or escape dangerous situations much more effectively. Without it, she struggles to reposition during fights, making her far less threatening and easier for enemies to control. Now probably one of the more effective ways of using this gadget is to dodge incoming projectiles. Bonnie's Sugar Rush gadget gives her a sudden burst of speed, which is perfect for dodging enemy shots that would otherwise hit her slowly moving body. Timing it right lets you slip through dangerous areas, avoid super abilities, or escape traps without taking unnecessary damage. This makes her much harder to pin down, letting you stay in the fight longer and maintain pressure on the opponents. Now personally, my favorite way of using this gadget is right after you respawn or right as you start the match. You can just pop this gadget and get into the fight right away. I mean, this gadget is perfect for quickly re-entering a fight after respawning, letting her cover ground much faster than normal. It allows her to catch up to ongoing skirmishes or return to objectives without being slowed down by her usual sluggish movement. By using it strategically, you can re-engage opponents while they're distracted, giving you an immediate advantage and helping your team maintain pressure. And then of course, one of the more forgotten ways you can use this gadget is when you need to escape dangerous situations. Bonnie's Sugar Rush gadget is a lifesaver when you find yourself cornered or low on health, giving her a sudden burst of speed to slip out of danger. It lets you dodge incoming attacks and create distance from aggressive enemies, buying you time to recover or reposition. Using it wisely can turn a potentially fatal situation into an opportunity to stay in the fight and support your team. But okay, that's gonna be it for Bonnie's gadgets. Let's go and talk about her star powers now, but the first one I'm gonna talk about is Wisdom Tooth. This star power allows allows Bonnie's cannon form's attack to split in 4 smaller projectiles in a cross pattern that deal 25% of her attack damage to enemies. The projectiles travel 2 tiles before they disappear. Now, a time where I'd recommend you use this star power is when you're playing on control-oriented game modes. Bonnie's Wisdom Tooth star power is great for control-oriented game modes because it increases her ability to pressure key areas with constant chip damage. Every hit with her main attack helps control enemy movement, forcing them to retreat or play more cautiously around objectives. This makes it easier to dominate lanes, protect safe zones, charge your super, and maintain a strategic advantage over opponents. Now, even if you're using the star power in non-control oriented game modes, just focus on groups of enemies. Bonnie's Wisdom Tooth star power shines when you target groups of enemies because each hit adds extra chip damage, increasing her overall impact. By focusing on clusters, you can pressure multiple opponents at once, making it harder for them to push objectives or defend key areas. This approach lets you control the battlefield more effectively, forcing enemies to scatter or risk taking consistent damage over time. Now, kinda like with the crash test gadget, you should not be using Wisdom Tooth over her black powder star power. Bonnie's Wisdom Tooth star power can be underwhelming because its chip damage is minor and often doesn't make a noticeable difference in fights. It's situational, relying on consistent hits over time, which can be hard to achieve against mobile or evasive opponents. In fast-paced battles, the slow buildup of damage makes it less impactful, leaving Bonnie less effective compared to more straightforward options. But okay, that's gonna be for Bonnie's first star power. Let's go and talk about her second star power, Black Powder. With this star power, Bonnie's cannon form's super range is increased from 7.33 tiles to 10 tiles. Now, this star power is absolutely goated because it makes Bonnie's super just so much better. Bonnie's Black Powder star power makes her star launcher super even stronger by increasing its range, letting her reach enemies from farther away. This allows her to safely engage or finish off targets without putting herself in immediate danger. By extending the super's reach, she can control fights more effectively and pressure opponents in ways that wouldn't be possible otherwise. Now, I just love using this star power because it really catches the opponents off guard. Bonnie's Black Powder star power gives her star launcher super extra range, which is perfect for surprising enemies who think they're safe from her super. By jumping from unexpected distances, you can land hits on opponents before they have a chance to react or escape. This element of surprise makes it easier to secure kills and control the flow of the fight, keeping enemies on their toes. But okay, that's gonna be for Bonnie's star power, so let's go and talk about our Hypercharge Daredevil. When activated, Bonnie's super sends out 6 smaller teeth radially that travel for 6.67 tiles, both when she lands into the air and when she lands. The teeth spawn 1.67 tiles away from the center, so they cannot all hit an enemy at point blank range. In addition, upon takeoff and landing, she stuns nearby enemies for 1 second in a radius of 2.67 tiles. Bonnie also gains a 25% shield boost, a 25% damage boost, as well as a 5% shield boost. Now, probably one of the best times to use this Hypercharge is when you're jumping onto a group of enemies. Bonnie's Daredevil Hypercharge is most effective when you can hit multiple targets at once, letting you maximize the damage output in a short burst. By targeting groups, you can weaken several opponents simultaneously, making it harder for them to push objectives or fight back effectively. This not only pressures the enemy team, but also creates openings for your teammates to capitalize on, turning the tide of battle in your favor. Now, I just want you to be careful of where you land because your teeth won't hit the opponents if you land on top of them at a point blank range. When using Bonnie's Daredevil Hypercharge, landing at a point blank range can actually cause your shots to miss because of the attack's hitbox mechanics. This means you might waste valuable damage and leave yourself vulnerable if you dive in too close. To avoid this, it's better to aim slightly ahead or to the side, ensuring your teeth connect while still keeping pressure on the opponents. But okay, the recommended build I suggest you guys use with Bonnie is running the Sugar Rush gadget, the Black Powder star power. The first gear I'm gonna recommend is gonna be the Supercharge Epic gear. That gear does definitely make a difference, and getting Bonnie super is the most important part about her kit. And then finally, I do recommend running like damage or speed. You can definitely run damage because, you know, dealing the extra damage won't hurt at all. But if you are playing on a map with a decent amount of bushes and you think you can take advantage of that, just go ahead and use the speed gear because Bonnie just moves so incredibly slow. Well, anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed that video, I highly recommend you guys go check out this video right here.